Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Great, I hope. Anybody in the blizzard? Watching it live here. This is a public, it's a Cape Cod Canal live cam. I'll show you guys where we are. Got the storm over here on the left. You can see it's starting to get into high gear. This is what the models have been suggesting for a few days now. A lot of times when the models suggest big storms, or as we know, hurricanes and cyclones, anytime they're more than 5 days out, the odds of the weather changing, is greater. But as we've gotten closer and closer to this weekend, the models have not changed much, if any at all. So you can see the storm making its way into the upper northeast along the coast. You can see, like, from New Jersey and all the way up to Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. So they're going to be dealing with, it looks like, a lot of snow. It looks like the model is going to verify what we're waiting on now. And everybody, obviously, that lives up in that area are the Snowfall Totals. And they're still about the same. I'll take a look at those here in just a moment. But they haven't changed much. I mean, you're still looking at, according to some models, near 2 feet of snow in Long Island, New York. Say what? So, yeah. Hey, Laura, Michael, what's up, Sunflower? True Nature, good morning, guys. Anybody up in the path of the storm? That was one of the main questions that I wanted to ask during this. Anybody up there? Anybody in the path of the storm? We're in Cape Cod. Here's where we're at right now. Here's what you're looking at. I want to show you guys where we're at that have just joined. We're right in here. And this is, in fact, we're right over in here. There's the camera looking at the snow, and it's right there on the edge of this very large system that is developing. It's still in, I don't know, it's still kind of, you can tell it's just getting stronger and stronger by the hour. The majority of it is offshore. It did not veer left like it could have. There goes a truck right there. I saw a snowplow attempt to go through there earlier. You can tell the winds are high. We talked about the possibility of, even at times, hurricane force wind gusts up in that area. Just simply treacherous road conditions that, would be almost impossible to even drive in these types of conditions at times, But you can see, like right now, the wind is really tossing that tree around there in the foreground. And the tree is absent of its canopy. A canopy meaning a full head of hair, full leaves. There's no leaves on that tree, or trees. There's a couple there. And the leaves are usually what catch the wind, not just the branches. So that wind's pretty strong to be able to move those trees around like that. That's what happens in hurricanes. They're obviously, at a time of year when trees are in full canopy and the leaves act as big sails that catch the wind. A tree that catches wind with no leaves is in a very strong line of wind. So those winds are very strong. That did verify. The models were telling us that all along. Expect high winds and heavy snow, which equates to a blizzard, the first blizzard of 2022. And the snow is supposed to really pile up in places, especially along the coast and up in New Hampshire, Long Island, New York, Massachusetts, Maine, parts of Maine. You guys up there could see a staggering 30 inches of snow, maybe more. And from the looks of what we're seeing here, the snow is blowing sideways, across the field of view here. It's really, really coming down. Wow. But you know what? It's right on time. It's that time of year. And there's supposed to be a snowstorm in the next 5 days across the Central Plains. I'll share it here later. We'll see if it's updated since yesterday. To be honest, I have not looked to see, but yesterday the 5-day forecast. That's why I say these 5-day forecasts, they do change. Understandably so. But there's supposed to be a storm go through the Central Plains, bringing possibly 10 inches of snow through right through the south central part of Illinois in the next, well, now it'll be in the next 4 days. So I have to wait and see how that unfolds. It's not associated with this storm. It's a entirely different low pressure system that actually hasn't even formed yet. That's how good these models are. Isn't that crazy? They can foretell how much snow is going to be delivered to a specific location, sometimes a week in advance. Pretty good. But yeah, this is coming in off the Atlantic coast. Got wind going in several different directions. The wind here is coming across the screen from left to right. And I believe that is looking to the north. But it's pretty much a whiteout right now. And it's been like that. I've had this on for almost an hour. And it looks like, honestly, it's gotten stronger. At least with regard to the white appearance in the field of view, which is implying blowing snow. And the snow has gotten stronger just in the last, I'd say 20 minutes for sure. Seems to be have gotten stronger. So anybody up in that area that is in the middle of the blizzard, hopefully you got your goods and things that you needed for at least a couple of days. Because if the models do verify, which it does look like they probably will, some areas are going to see well over a foot of snow. So it's going to be hard for trucks to make deliveries. You guys know the drill. You've been in snowstorms before. It's not your first rodeo. But in case you haven't, it does kind of affect trade routes. Trade routes are, sometimes impassable, which means good services, or at least goods, and sometimes services, might be delayed till the roads. There goes a snowplow right there. See it? Which is good. They're trying to stay ahead of the snow accumulation on the trade routes. Trying to keep them trade routes open. That's commerce, man. You got to keep the flow going. And a snowstorm like this, it'd be hard to clear out 20 inches of snow off of a road. Where would you put it? So you have to pile it up a few inches at a time. Let it snow a couple inches and then go clean it off. Snow a couple of more inches and go clean it off. It's easier to pile up 2 inches of snow than it is 20. I saw a snowplow end up in a ditch one time, and this is a massive truck, weighed about, 12,000 pounds, absolutely huge. And it was snowing just like this. And the snow had gotten so deep on this one particular road that the mighty snowplow couldn't even get through it. And there was about 20 inches, if not more, maybe 25 inches of snow drifts across this road. The road ran north to south, kind of similar to what you're seeing here. And the winds were blowing, I think, east to west. But anyway, it was piling up. And the snowplow couldn't get through the drift. The guy he couldn't tell where the road was at from the deep ditch. The ditch was probably 6 foot deep and ended up in the ditch because he couldn't get through the super deep snow. So that's why they stay on it, when it's not as deep, because it's easier to manage. That's why. Hey, Scott, you're in Queens, New York, getting hammered. Thank you, Scott, for that update. Let's go check out Queens real quick. And thank you, Scott, for the for the $5. Look at Queens here. Check it out, Scott. This is where Scott's at in Queens. Right down here on the west end of Long Island, New York. A lot of trade routes in there and a lot of people in this area. Queens is looking at probably a foot. See that? That's where our friend Scott's at. There you are, Scott. There's what the models are showing right now, and more than likely that will verify because that's showing, you know, almost 12 inches of snow by 10 o'clock tonight on Saturday night. So could be more, could be less by the time all of the snow dust settles, but and it will be. I mean, you know, looking at, you know, central Long Island, 18, 19, 22 inches. That's what we were talking about yesterday. Then up into the New England area, 17, 18, 19, just depends on where you go. We're over here in the Cape area where, you know, it's a wide variety, anywhere from 18 to 17, pretty consistent though, 16, 18, 25 inches in the Pembroke area, 24 inches in Brockton, unbelievable. South Boston, 18, 17, wow, it's a lot of snow. Again, this is the area where the camera's at. It's the camera right here, and here is the storm. Thank you, Scott, for that update. I really appreciate that, Scott. It's in Queens, and it's snowing very hard right now in Queens, New York, like we're seeing here up in the Cape. This is a bridge up Cape Cod. That's the camera we're looking at. And that's where this snow is accumulating, like Scott's in Queens, New York. It's coming down at a pretty good pace right now. And here's the math on how this works. It's 11 a.m. Eastern time. It's 9 o'clock where I'm at, so a couple hours behind you guys. But it's just simple math. If it snows like it currently is, 2 inches an hour for the next 11 hours, and there's already snow on the ground. I don't know how much, but simple math. If it's snowing at a rate of 2 inches an hour, and it does it for even the next 10 hours, that's 20 inches, you know. And it's going to fluctuate. Might snow an inch an hour, might snow 2 inches, and then back to an inch. It fluctuates up and down, depending on the density of the PWAT. That would be the precipitable moisture in the atmosphere. Look at the snow coming down there. Now you can't see the fence over there in the distance. Wow. Unreal. Hold on just a second. See that fence over there across the way? Look, it's getting to where you can't even see it. Let's put it kind of a little more in the field of view there. Yeah, it's really blowing hard. Got high winds there. That would be on the Cape, which kind of sticks out, you know. It's going to probably pick up more of the high wind segment of this storm because it's going to be closer to the center of rotation of this big low pressure system. But wow. Yeah, it's piling up. And like we talked, you know, just simple math, if it's snowing at a rate of a couple inches per hour, just do the math. Even an inch an hour at 10 hours, that's 10 inches of snow. It's supposed to get measurable snow in parts of New Jersey, you know, anywhere from, I think I saw up to, 15 inches of snow in parts of northern New Jersey. Of course, over in the Long Island area where Scott confirmed, they're getting a lot of snow right now. Early this morning, not necessarily early, but it's around 11 o'clock. It's coming down pretty good. Camera you're looking at here, once again, it's up in the Cape. This is a Cape Cod bridge. And there's a bridge out there somewhere, you just can't see it. It's Snow is making sure that the blizzard of 2022, yeah, parts of central Maine, looking at, and then of course up into southern Canada. Our friends up in southern Canada, you're gonna see copious snowfall totals, 20, 30. I even saw 40-inch total, staggering amount of snow in central Maine and up into Nova Scotia. Woo! Really piling up. And I think what it was, I grew up in the snow. I'm no stranger to snow. I'm familiar with the icy vehicles and driving in the snow. Here comes another vehicle here. And the treacherous conditions. I mean, you have got to really, really be careful. Um, yeah, I grew up in it. So my truck that I had years ago used to sit outside. I have to go out and start it 30 minutes before work, let it thaw out, get nice and warmed up. But yeah, if you're out driving in this, I wouldn't recommend doing it, number one. Number two, if you are, I remember having a grip on that steering wheel. Of course, I had a four-wheel drive too, so that helped. Definitely helps. Four-wheel drive and front-wheel drive. If you've got a rear-wheel drive vehicle, you always had to put weight in the back. Even if it was a car, you'd put weight in the trunk. To put weight on that rear axle, and that would give you more traction. Front-wheel drive cars always did better in the snow, simply because you had the weight of the motor on the front axle, so it gave you a better, better traction in the snow. And then if you had four-wheel drive, oh wow, you were doing pretty good as long as you stayed within respectable, speed limits. You not only got to think of your own safety, but other people's safety as well. But it's best to not even get out in this stuff. Got another camera here I want to show you guys up in. This is in southern Massachusetts, and you can see on this live cam, it's near live, let's put it that way. It updates every 2 seconds. And this is I-91 southbound at Long Meadow, south of exit 1 on Route 5. And this is snow coming down again, not too far from the other camera we were watching. Snow piling up on these highways. Like I said, it's just best to stay off of them. A lot of times they can only clear one lane, Yeah, I've been in a few blizzards. That one blizzard I was in, like I said, I saw the snowplow go tip over in the ditch because the snow was too deep. But he was trying to go through over 2 feet of snow, and it was, even for the big truck, it was next to impossible. Sunflower showing fires in the southeastern United States. We have to check on that. Child of God reporting any earthquakes near southeast Kentucky around 4:30 this morning. Said their windows rattled for 15 to 20 seconds. Thank you for that report. I will definitely look into that. Okay, southeast Kentucky. I don't know of anything that's been occurring there, at least, with regard to earthquakes, that's for sure, but I will check. And here's the weather map, guys. I'm over here at VentureSky.com. This is the storm that has been predicting, it's steady, hasn't changed much in the last 3 days. And a lot of times they will. The live feed General Sorrows from the Cape Cod bridge cam. There's a bridge cam up there. It's a public cam. All I know is Cape Cod Bridge. something. Oh my! What's going on in the Netherlands? I guess there's a storm up in the Netherlands. Mama Bear and Papa Bear. My sister is near Cape Cod, and she was asking a bit ago. I'm just reading some of the comments, guys. And okay, so here we are at Venta Sky, and you can see some of the totals that are quite remarkable. You know, you're talking 2019 wide areas of just very, very thick snow. Like a Long Island, New York, 20, 22, 18, Queens area looking at nearly a foot of snow. And here's a highway up in Massachusetts. It's still passable. It's not impassable yet. There goes a snowplow right there. There goes two snowplows. Oh, wow, nice job. Got 3, 4 snowplows. Whole fleet of snowplows. Oh, that's good. Staying on top of these roads. You see that? There was probably, what, 5 or 6, and then the cars get in behind the snowplows. I remember those days. And that was the best time to travel. If you had to travel and you had no other options, you kind of wait for a snowplow to go through and then stay about 100 yards back behind the snowplow driver. And then you'd have a nice clean road to get at least as far as the plow went. Sometimes those plows will stagger and they'll cover multiple lanes. There'll be like 3 plows covering multiple lanes, and I've seen that before too. Like I said, I grew up in that stuff, so not necessarily something. I don't know. I don't dislike the snow, but you know, a lot of it for long periods of time. You know, it's hard on your vehicles. The salt that they spread on the roads to melt the ice, snow accumulation on the roads. It does help with keeping the roads safe, but you know, it's pretty hard on your car, your trucks. They were back at the Cape Cod Bridge Cam. Where we're at is right here in this area, Cape Cod. I think we're right over here. Right in this area here, that's where we're at, guys. Watching the snow come down, and at times we're seeing near whiteout conditions. Using this fence right here kind of as a gauge, and you can see right now the intensity of the snow. It's let up a little bit. The winds, at least for the time being, have let up for a little bit. We're just trying to monitor the storm as it's making landfall right now. And it's gonna be in the area all day. According to these models, it's got to be in the area all day if these snowfall totals are going to verify. I mean, we're looking at snowfall totals in Long Island and parts of southern New England, and you know, in the area of at least 18 inches. So it's going to have to snow 2 inches an hour for 9 hours. It's got to snow for at least 9 hours in order to get to those totals. So it's going to be an all-day event. You've got a blizzard. First blizzard of 2022. Boy, it's a doozy. We're going to have snow on the ground for quite a while up there if this does verify. And it looks like it does. I mean, the storm's there. It's there. It's coming. So it's arrived. It's in progress. So you're going to have snow on the ground for probably the rest of the winter. Looking at some of these staggering totals. Queens, Long Island. Look at Queens is on the edge, getting a foot, 11 inches. Unbelievable. And then inland too, you know, and into the Pittsburgh area, looking at 5 or 6. In fact, I wanted to, hang on guys, let's go to, I want to go back to the Venta Sky. I want to look at New Jersey real quick. I know New England's going to see well over a foot in Long Island. Okay, here we are. So, New Jersey, all along the coast. All the purple, very heavy. Ocean Acres, 14.5. Point Pleasant, 14.2. Well, pretty much a 14, 12-inch total, spanning from Long Branch down past, or actually down to Atlantic City. And then inland, a foot. Look at that. Central New Jersey, foot of snow. Again, that would be by the end of the day. It's going to be an all-day event. It's going to snow all day, probably at a rate somewhere on average in the neighborhood of 2 inches an hour. And this over here, at least according to this computer model, again, I'm at Ventus Sky, looking at possibly some lake effect snow over here in the Buffalo area, Erie, east of Cleveland. See the purple and pink over here? Is that lake effect snow? I mean, it's not necessarily part of this system here. I don't know. I know lake effect, that snow can pile up really quick. Really quick. You're talking 3 or 4 inch per hour rates with lake effect snow. That's those snowstorms that generate the moisture comes off the Great Lakes. Could be an individual Great Lake, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie. In this case, Lake Erie. Yeah, possible lake effect snows. We've seen lake effect snows in the past of, well over 30 inches in a day. Crazy. But that's not the case there. That looks like, in some places, 20, 24 inches. So it looks like the winds have, at least for the time being, let up a little bit. This is a Cape Cod webcam. Seeing traffic here in, this would be in southern Massachusetts is where we're at here. This is a southbound lane, so we're looking south. They're still passable. Cars are moving. Of course, we just saw a small fleet of snowplows go through this would be the southbound lane over here on the right. The left lane is the northbound lane. It looks like we've got a snowplow coming our direction, and they're clearing out that far right-hand lane, I think. Or is it stalled? See that back there? See the lights? Check it out. Right there. That's a vehicle sitting back there. I don't know if it's a truck. I don't know. It's a vehicle sitting right there. But anyway, the southbound lanes are slow, but they're open, which is good. And this is up in south central Massachusetts. Here comes a vehicle in the northbound. Actually, that's southbound. I'm sorry. The other is northbound. I got multiple vehicles coming up. So the snow is definitely accumulating on the roads. Oh, that's a snowplow right there. Okay, that's what that was. Right on. So, and they're staggered, so they're covering multiple lanes. That's what I've seen. They overlap each other. So he'll be in lane 1, then he'll overlap part of lane 1, then there should be another one come back and overlap him. Yeah, that's what they're doing. And then they move it all off to the far right-hand side of the road. And then he's getting his leftovers. He's getting his leftovers. And then he's getting his leftovers, and then this guy here ultimately pushes the snow off. See it going off the road? Smart guys, that's how you're supposed to do it. They just moved probably a couple inches of snow off of, that's southbound lane of Longmeadow on I-91. Here's the storm system, and it is large. Look at the size of that thing. It's like a classic nor'easter. Yeah, it definitely has the appearance of a nor'easter for sure. And I tell you what, these snowfall totals, you guys can clearly see, just looking at the radar I've got inset here. Actually, it's infrared radar, but the dark orange and red, that implies intensity. And if that storm would have been just a few miles further west, that would be left. Oh, wow. These already impressive snowfall totals would be double. Yeah. Instead of 24 inches on Long Island in places, you'd see 40, 48. Instead of 18, up in the New England area, you'd see 36. But the super heavy, luckily, is staying offshore. And that's the orange and red you see up there. So it did not track left. There were, I guess, a couple of models showing that there was an outside chance that this storm could wander, drift a little bit left, maybe a little bit right, out to sea. And then if it would have drifted a little bit right, well, you just seen snow flurries along the coast. But it stayed the course the whole time. It really didn't veer too far off like a lot of forecasts do, especially 5-day forecasts. It stayed the course. So we'll see what the totals are by nightfall. Actually, it'll be by bedtime. By 10 o'clock tonight, I think it's going to snow for at least the next 10 hours if you guys are up in these areas. It's going to be an all-day event. That's why you're going to see such incredible snowfall totals in some of these areas, because it's going to be an all-day event. Big storm, not necessarily a real fast-moving storm. You're going to see remarkable snowdrifts because of the high winds. Look at the winds. See, they're starting to pick up now on the webcam. See the winds starting to crank up again. I think it was this model here that I was looking at. Yeah, it was. It was Vent to Sky, showing snowdrifts, or not snowdrifts, wind speeds, wind gusts, not necessarily steady winds, but wind gusts at times with an onshore flow, which is going to create large waves along the coastline. When you have 80-mile-an-hour winds pushing the water inland, that's going to be a little issue too. But some of the models did show this afternoon wind gusts of in excess of hurricane force. So impressive storm, guys. Okay, trying to answer a couple of questions here. Kathy's L, how is it looking in South and North New Jersey? We're going to go take a look, okay? All right, let's do this. And I'll zoom in where you guys can see close, okay? Let's give some, and this model is going to verify. That's the thing I want to imply. This is more than likely going to happen because it's underway right now, and the snowfall totals that it's showing are less than 12 hours away. So yeah, this is it's going to happen. So you're going to see a lot of snow. Kathy's was asking about New Jersey, and here we go. Okay, can you guys see? Let me get this zoomed in for you. There you go. Can you guys see that? I'm gonna leave it up for a second so it'll catch up right there. All right, there's South Jersey. You're looking at a wide area. Look, all the way over. I believe that's the Delaware River. Okay, let's take a guess here. And then that's 5 inches over there, and then all the way across. Or is that the Potomac? Either way, there's a body of water there. And then from that area, 5 inches, we're going to move across southern New Jersey. See 10 inches in south central New Jersey. All the way over to the coast, where you're looking at 14 inches of snow near the coast, and then down to 10, and then right on the coast, just 5 or 6 inches. Then we're going to go up by Tom's River. Look at that. That's a lot of snow. I'm telling you, these snow plows are going to be very busy. And guys and gals that have trucks, maybe Jeeps, that have snow plows on the front of them are going to be very busy for the next 2 days. They'll be working around the clock, cleaning, parking lots of grocery stores and things like that. Okay, so now we are up. Let's go to Philadelphia, looking at 7 inches, 6 inches around Philadelphia. Can you guys see that better? Sorry about that. I didn't realize earlier it was so small, and it is small. You're right. Okay, south of Tom's River, we're in north central New Jersey, 13.9. 13, just a garden variety of totals above 12 inches. So you're going to see over a foot near Tom's River. Foot of snow, 14 inches of snow. Look at that. That's a lot of snow, especially blowing, drifting snow. You're going to see some mammoth drifts up in through there. 5-6 foot tall drifts. Easy. Okay, over by Allentown. Let's just check it out. 2 or 3 inches of snow. They can't handle there. Long Island, we got a report from Queens, which is right in here. Queens, New York, looking at 11 inches of snow. And that would be by tonight, guys. By 10 o'clock tonight, looking at just near a foot near Manhattan, New York, Queens, New York. And then the farther you go, if you're traveling east on Long Island, see how the snowfall totals increase. And the totals that I'm showing you guys are by 10 o'clock tonight. So for the next 10 hours, this is what you can expect. Total snowfall of like 18 inches in this area here. Let's zoom in. What are we talking about? Brentwood, Lindenhurst, Huntington Station. Look at that. Very densely populated areas. So these roads are going to be covered with a lot of snow, in the Brentwood area, Coran, Shirley. Look at that. Shirley, 18 inches of snow. Woo! It's a lot of snow. And even more so up here in the in between Shirley and Riverhead, 20 possible inches of snow. Coming over here to the Hampton Bays, 23 inches of snow. 24 inches of snow in places are possible. And more than likely, it's going to verify, according to this map. Now we're getting out to the far eastern edge of Long Island, and you're still looking at well over a foot of snow, easy, by 10 o'clock tonight. Now we're up into Connecticut, southern Connecticut, New London, East Haddam, Old Saybrook. Again, wide variety of 16, 17, 18 inches of blowing, drifting snow over the next 10 hours. Norwich, 18. Plainfield, 18. Coventry, 17. Now we're over into, I believe that's Rhode Island. It's just a wide stretch from 19, pretty consistent, 19 to 20 inches of snow. And then you're looking at you go over here into southeastern Massachusetts. Look at that. Possible 24 inches of snow. And again, that would be by 10 o'clock tonight. And this is where we're at right here. Right in this area here. And this area, I'm going to show you again with the camera, the webcam is in that area right there, looking at 19 parts of central Maine. How about that? How'd you like to shovel 35 inches of blowing, drifting snow? Wow. Near Portland, they're looking at, 14 inches of snow, getting up into parts of, look at that, 39 inches of snow, nearly 40 inches of snow. There you go, 44 inches of snow. That is absolutely nuts. And that is in north central Maine. All right. Okay, here's the storm. You can see a snow plow moving through the area. And the snow appears to be, right now, a little thicker. Not complete whiteout conditions, but near whiteout. So those winds in conjunction with the heavy snow, it's going to create tremendous snow drifts all across the New England area, Long Island, New York area, New Jersey. You guys are going to see some incredible snow drifts. I remember one year we had a blizzard and the snow drifts in the backyard reached the gutter on the overhang of the house. The gutter. I mean, they were like 10 foot. As a kid, they were fun to play in, absolutely. Yeah, 10-foot drifts. Easy. And I don't even think we had this much snow. It's a lot of wind. And you guys, I'm going to go up to the Netherlands here in a minute and see what's shaking up in the Netherlands. I keep getting reports. I want to thank you guys for the reports. I appreciate that. But there's something going on up in the Netherlands, and we're going to, in fact, I'm going to keep you guys right here. And the reason I'm watching this webcam, we've got a nice perspective of how, intense the snowfall is coming down, and it's just further confirmation that these snowfall totals are more than likely going to verify, throughout the day. It's going to snow all day event, at least the next 10 hours. You guys along the East Coast are going to have snow, of some intensity, whether it's super intense or not quite as intense. Like right now, you can see it's near whiteout conditions. You can see the snow just moving across the screen in blankets. Unbelievable. But I do want to go up. I'm going to check over here on a separate monitor. Hey, Kath. Kathasel, thank you. It's very kind. Hope I answered your questions about New Jersey. You guys are going to see a lot of snow. I mean, potentially on average, foot of snow. Foot of snow if you're central, whether it be north or south Jersey, foot of snow potentially today. Again, all-day event, looking at 12 hours, the next 10 hours for sure of snow. So I'm going to go up to, you guys stay right here. Hang on with me just a second. I'm going to see what's happening up here in the Netherlands. I'm getting reports. Here comes another snowplow. That's actually a small one. That looks like a truck. Yeah, it's a small truck. Not necessarily a plow. Like a highway truck. But it did have a plow on it. Okay. Alrighty. I'm just looking around, guys, up in the Netherlands. I keep getting reports. Okay, I do see a big low pressure. Ooh. Okay. Gotcha. All right. What's going on? There's a very large low pressure center of rotation offshore that's creating a tremendous onshore flow of high winds. So yeah, you are definitely seeing high wind gusts right now, near hurricane force, but not quite. I don't see any. I see a little bit of precipitation, but not much. Wow. Okay. Just high winds, guys. And we'll go up there and look at it here in just a moment. But there's a very large center of rotation up in between Norway and Scotland. In fact, it's anchored in northern Norway. Got that counterclockwise rotation, and on that, here comes that plow again. On the back side of it is showing very high winds, reaching at times hurricane force, but not a steady flow of hurricane force winds, just heavy wind gusts. That's what they're dealing with up in the Netherlands, and it's because of a huge low pressure system that's anchored north of Norway. Okay, we're back over here in south central Massachusetts. As you can see on this particular webcam, at least for the time being, and that's how it works. It's gonna, fluctuate, go from very intense snowfall to little, if any, at all at times. Been in many storms like that, to where you'll have whiteout conditions, and then the sun may come out for 5 minutes, and then it goes back to a whiteout. Sun's not out here, but you can see traffic is moving pretty good at both lanes. These are the southbound and northbound lanes. That's what the SB means over here on the left. Southbound, so we're looking at the southbound lane, and the other lane obviously is northbound lane. But in any case, it's not snowing as hard at the time being in that area, and this is the area we're in, right in here. It's where we're watching this take place in pretty much real time. That's what's going on right there. Had a report out of Queens where they're getting snow at a very significant rate right now. Probably in Queens, they're looking at 1 inch an hour. Rest of you guys up there in the New England area, you're probably going to see 2 inch hour totals. By the end of the day, 2 inch per hour rates, and that would be on average. It might snow 4 inches in 1 hour, and then the next 2 hours it might snow 1 inch. But on average, by the time the dust all settles, the storm moves out. If there's 20 inches of snow on the ground and it snowed for 10 hours, simple math will tell you, the average snowfall rate was 2 inches per hour, and that is based off of the atmospheric moisture content inside this overall storm, which you can see by the looks of the storm, most of the moisture is thankfully offshore. There could have been a ton more snow make its way inland if this storm would have just very minusculely moved to the left, just a little, not much, just a little, but it stayed the course. It stayed the course. They thought maybe it might go right a little more out into the Atlantic. It did not. It stayed on the pretty much same exact path. It's kind of rare, but not unheard of. But forecasts that are at least 5 days out always change. That's no problem, Kathy. Just wanting to know how much snow. I'm just trying to answer a few questions here since we're, watching a blizzard. I can interact more in the chat room. Where when I'm doing a different type of video, if I have like 12 windows open at the same time and I'm trying to present these windows to you guys in a sensible flow, I have to really focus on my desktop and the 12 windows that I have open, and sometimes 5 different pages. It's unbelievable. So I have to focus on that. But now, okay, let's go back to South Jersey. How much snow is predicted for the southern coastal area of New Jersey? Well, let's go back to our handy dandy map. And here's New Jersey, right? And we're going to go to southern. And here's the southern coastal area. Okay, let me get a zoom. I'll leave it right there until it catches up. There you go, 12 inches. That would be near Cape May Courthouse, 12.9. That's the southern coast. Hope that answers your question. Of New Jersey, right there, 12.9, 12.8, 11, 8.5, 9, getting up to the area of Woodbine, 11.9, hope I pronounced that correctly. Corbin City, 12.6. This is pretty consistent throughout New Jersey. You probably just count on a foot of snow on average. Egg Harbor, looking at possibly 13, maybe just a little bit more there. But in general, the southern coast of New Jersey, looking at a foot of snow. So you're going to have snowfall rates in those areas probably on average of 1 inch per hour. Since this is going to be a multi-hour event, looking at about 1 inch an hour snowfall rates in those areas. Traffic still moving pretty good in south central Massachusetts. Seeing a steady flow of very small traffic. There aren't many people out, which is good. This I-91 southbound, Long Meadow. We've seen snow plows going in both directions here, northbound and southbound lanes. So they're staying on top of the snow, which is good. It's easier to move an inch or two of snow than it is 12 or 14 inches of snow. So that's why the plows stay active, and they'll work 24 hours during large events like this. They'll have guys working 12-hour shifts. And then there's people right now out clearing parking lots, of your supermarkets that are open. Some places have closed for the day. In fact, I've got something here I've saved about all the different places that were closed up in the area, the path of the storm. Several places closed down just because of the, road conditions, which is wise. You don't want to encourage people to get out and drive in these types of conditions, because if they do need rescued, it's hard for the EMS to get to these people because of the treacherous conditions. So it's just best, unless you absolutely have to, just to stay at home. Stay at home. So yeah, it's coming in, guys, as forecasted. You can see right here, this is a Cape Cod bridge cam we're looking at right here. And the snow has just been coming down in just sheets, just blankets of snow at times, creating near, not total whiteout conditions, but it's been steady. I've had this on for well over an hour. In fact, I've had it on for close to 2 hours, and it's been pretty much the same for the last 2 hours. Just a steady flow of high winds, blowing, drifting snow. Seen a few snow plows go through this area. Seen several snow plows on I-91 southbound. That would be in south central Massachusetts, staying on top of the roads. These guys do a good job, but there's only so many trucks, and there's way more roads than there are trucks. So they try to work in teams, and that's why you'll see them staggered side by side, lane by lane, 4 deep. They're moving that snow from lane 1 to the ditch. They're trying to get it off the road, while it's not super thick. Now you can see the snow is picking up here by the looks of this bridge cam. Look at that. That is getting intense right now. And again, this is going to go on all day. Here's the area that we're at right now, the Cape Cod area. This is where we're at. They're going to see potentially, 20 inches of snow in this area right here. Cape Cod. This is a Cape Cod canal. It's a bridge cam. That's where we're at. It's a lot of snow. First blizzard of 2022. One thing I do want to look at is power outages. Let me see if there's any power outages as of right now. If there are, I'll share them with you guys. A lot of times, these storms can create power outages quite easily, with especially the high winds without the snow. The snow can kind of compound the situation. Oh, Lord. Okay. Yeah. All right, let me show you something here real quick. There's 115,000 customers without electricity in Massachusetts. Wow. Okay, hang tight, guys. Here we go. Check this out. Look at that. Over here at poweroutage.us. I don't know if you can see that or not. Hold on. There are 115,000 customers. That's just customers. You know, that affects many, many more people. Let's just say on average, the customer rate is three. 3 people per household. 2. That's 230,000 people, and you know it's probably more than that, that are being affected by the power outage. Yeah, right there, Massachusetts is in a major power outage event right now as I do this video, and that's something that we'll definitely keep a close eye on as we're monitoring the storm. 115,000 customers without electricity. That's as of noon Eastern time. And this storm's got a long way to go. It's going to continue on like this for all day. So getting that power restored, you know, to those customers, that's a lot of customers, you know, it's going to be very challenging at best. Very challenging. Wow, that's a lot. But it's the high winds, the snow accumulation, you know, on tree branches and things like that. I'm sure there's a lot of trees, tree branches that are down across that area. And, you know, the branches will fall into power lines. And that additional weight will cause the power lines to, you know, disconnect from the power poles and transformers, creating a power outage. So 115,000 customers right now in Massachusetts without electricity. And I bet, let me look, zoom in a little tighter. They're probably primarily, oh yeah, it's in the same area that we're monitoring. There we go. Let's zoom in on Massachusetts, and that's right where we're at. So it's in the center of where we're watching on the storm from the bridge cam. Look at that. 67,000 customers here, and that's right where we're watching. 20,000 there. Dukes 2.8, 2,800. 5,300 in Nantucket, and that is right here. That's why I went to that area. They're getting the brunt of this storm right now, and I can tell once again the winds are picking up. So 115,000 customers. Look at those winds. Now you're getting near whiteout. See how it's blocking the fence over there where it's creating a whiteout condition. When the fence starts to disappear and the snow overwhelms everything. There's that truck. That guy doesn't have a blade on his truck. Why is he out driving around in this stuff? You can see he's got weight in the back of his truck. That helps him keep control of his vehicle because the roads are, you know, obviously very slick and not safe. Shouldn't even be out on those roads, but you know, sometimes you have to. I understand. I used to live in the snow many, many years ago. Lived in hurricanes and grew up in the snow. Why's that truck sitting over there? What is he doing? What's so important? You got to stop in the road. Not only that, in the wrong lane. I don't know. 115,000 customers without electricity in this very area that you're watching right now. It's Cape Cod Bridge. We're watching the snow come down, first blizzard of 2022, and we're right in the middle of the major power outage right now that's been created from this large storm. We're directly in the middle of the major power outages right now. And the problem, you know, with this type of scenario is the crewmen, the linemen that go out, linemen and women that work on these trucks that restore the power, they can't get out and work in conditions like this. So the power is going to be out all day. There's no way you can put somebody in a 30-foot boom truck, in 50, 60 mile an hour winds. It puts them at risk. So they're going to have to wait until the storm completely gets out of the area. And then they've got to wait for the roads to be cleared off so they can get to the places that have been affected by the high winds that have, caused power to come off the power poles and, disrupt the flow of power through the transformers, things like that. So they have to be able to get to the areas to actually do the work. So this is probably in some regard more challenging than, a hurricane. I remember Hurricane Irma came through Florida, and there were 6.9 million, quite possibly more. I think one time I looked, the peak was 6.9 where I was watching. 6.9 million customers. If that was just 2 people per household, you're looking at, nearly 14 million people. This was Hurricane Irma, down in the state of Florida that was affected, by power outages. But what they did, they had 40,000 trucks sitting up here in the Florida Panhandle, southern Alabama, southern Mississippi, out of the path of Hurricane Irma. And as soon, I mean within an hour, when Irma was out, the trucks came in and started putting up power lines. Within an hour, they started getting power back on. And they had, nearly 7 million customers, power restored in just a few days. Unbelievable. Those guys are really good. But you got to keep in mind, they weren't trying to drive through a foot of snow, with 4-foot drifts. This is a whole different scenario. So these trucks, they're ready to come in and get your power back on. The problem is just like you guys are dealing with, how do I get from my house to the store? Well, I can't get there because the road is impassable and it's loaded with drifts. They're dealing with the same thing when they're trying to get to the impaired, power pole to fix. They can't get there because of the snow. All right, just kind of looking at some of the questions here. Mark, update on Tongahapa. The eruption reached 35 miles in height. I'm just reading some of the questions here. Yeah, that was a truly incredible event. 35 miles. I don't know. I mean, maybe it got that high, but yeah, I'm talking over 150,000 feet. I don't know, bro. It might have got that high. Aaron Hicks, I live in Nova Scotia. Big winter storm is hitting us now. High winds and visibility is getting worse. Thank you, Aaron, from Nova Scotia. And Aaron, that is only going to continue as the day progresses, and it's going to last all day long. Absolutely. Nova Scotia. In fact, you're going to see probably more snow in Nova Scotia than the folks are south of you down here in the States. In fact, we'll look at the map here in just a moment, Aaron, and if I'm not mistaken, I saw areas of over 30 inches in Nova Scotia, and of course up in Newfoundland, you guys are in the very moist, dense part of the moisture, associated with the right-hand side of this counterclockwise rotating storm. There's a lot of moisture offshore that did not come onshore in the United States, but some of that moisture, that really heavy snow, is going to go up into Newfoundland and parts of Nova Scotia. And we'll check that out here in just a moment. Absolutely. But again, 115,000 customers and counting without electricity right now in this area right here. And this is the area that we've been focusing on. And that's what we're watching, on the bridge cam. We're watching this storm, unfold in near real time. This camera here updates every 2 seconds, and it looks like it may have stopped, which I'm not surprised. I have to refresh that here in just a moment and come back. It's going to go up to Nova Scotia. Our friend Aaron up in Nova Scotia said they are dealing with some heavy snowfall right now. here. I can't see on here because there's so much activity. Okay, this is Newfoundland. Where are we at here? Okay. New Hampshire, Maine, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. You guys will probably see some very high winds in Nova Scotia. And you're right on the right-hand side of that counterclockwise rotation. Now, you guys are probably getting some major winds through there. Again, 20, 22, 19, 14, 9 inches along this coast here, all the way up to 22. Some areas, good grief, 30, is that correct? Yeah, that's New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and then Newfoundland will probably see a significant amount of snowfall as well, because that's on the right-hand side of this counterclockwise rotation. And yeah, parts of Newfoundland, well, northern Newfoundland, 40 inches. Not over here, not so much, maybe an inch. A friend there, Philip, sends me stuff from Newfoundland. Looking at probably an inch or so, Phil, maybe 5, just depending on where you're at. Yeah, Nova Scotia, let's look at the winds. You've got to be getting 50, 60 mile an hour wind gusts in Nova Scotia. Yeah. Along the coast, 52, 55. Let me zoom in, I'm sorry. Looking at wind gusts in the Nova Scotia area. The Burgundy are hurricane force, or pretty close to it. And that's creating an onshore flow, and it's got that counterclockwise rotation that creates an offshore flow as well. Look at this up here. And that's what they're dealing with up in the Netherlands. And I want to go up there real quick and show you guys what's going on. I've had multiple people comment about the Netherlands. See this? You can already see it. See that right there? That giant low pressure system? It's parked up at the north end of Nova Scotia. Or not Nova Scotia, I'm sorry, Norway. Got my ends mixed up there. But anyway, they're experiencing high winds in the Netherlands. See the onshore flow from big counterclockwise storm system that's actually anchored right here south of Helsinki. And this is what they're dealing with in 70 mile an hour winds, near hurricane force winds. So it's extremely windy, especially if you're along the coast in these areas. That Burgundy is a wide wind field that's coming down through Norway, Sweden, Denmark. Big storm there. Very similar in nature, to this one over here that we're dealing with. Nor'easter in the northeastern United States that's impacting, parts of far eastern Canada, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland. These are wind speeds right now, gusting anywhere from, 30 to 40, 45 miles per hour. And here's the total snowfall. And it's not changed too much, guys. Very heavy up there in far eastern Canada, but down here in the States, I think that might have updated a little bit. Look at there. 24.4 inches of snow, southeastern Massachusetts. And that's where we're seeing the bulk of these power outages right now. Look at that. In fact, let's update the page. Let me go back. Yeah, it's going up. Look. 119,868. That's the entire state of Massachusetts, but it's primarily located in the area that we're watching. This is the majority. Yeah, you have power outages scattered throughout maybe central, under 100. Over here is the major power outages, and that's the area that we're watching. Someone back it up, keep an eye on that. And it's not going to be just limited to Massachusetts. I'm sure as we move, throughout the course of the day, we're entering near whiteout conditions here now. The power outages are going to affect multiple states. So, because this thing's just getting started, it's going to be an all-day event. Nearly 120,000 customers right now without electricity. You got to keep in mind that's probably going to last a while because the trucks can't get out to repair the lines that need to be repaired, unless it's a substation, and then they might have a chance. But then again, who can work in conditions like this here? Even if you don't have to get up into a 30-foot boom, on a boom truck. If it's something that can be repaired at a substation, there's an outside chance. But if you got to get up in a boom truck, no way. Not even in, I don't think they can go up in winds in excess of 30 miles per hour. And the entire area is experiencing wind gusts of 40. That's not counting the snow-covered roads. So it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while for sure. So hopefully, and I'm sure you guys did, because I know you guys are smart people. It's not your first snowstorm. But sometimes we forget about, our dependency, how dependent we are on electricity. All of us, myself included. Absolutely, we all are. It's just the world that we live in. We require electricity for, the majority of our daily activities. And, without it, for a few hours, okay, you can all handle that. But, like the hurricane that went through the Gulf of Mexico this past hurricane season last year, 2021, the large one that made landfall in Louisiana. There were areas down there where people didn't have power for 2 weeks. Can you imagine? 2 weeks. In today's world, it's pretty tough. But if you prepared ahead of time and you had generators and things like that, you weren't completely off of the grid, But if you don't have those things, then you're just off the grid for as long as it takes to get the power back on. And in these types of conditions, there's no way they can get out and get it repaired. It's hard to drive a snowplow that's cleaning the roads, let alone do any type of mechanical repairs that's involving high voltage. Those guys have to use extreme caution on a sunny day. They can't do it in a blizzard. No way. So just look for power to be off for a while, guys, if you're in those areas. All right, I'm just looking at some other comments here. Dennis, what about the volcano in the Pacific? I haven't heard of any other eruptions, Dennis. I do know there is a ongoing earthquake swarm in that area. Been many moderate earthquakes, nothing large, just moderate earthquakes. Understandably so. Michael Meekin, 147 mile an hour winds in Outage, Scotland last night. Check it out. Oh, wow. Okay. I will definitely check that out. I mean, you're talking Category 4 hurricane force winds in Scotland last night? Okay, I'll check that out. Really? You're talking above the 50-degree north latitude up in there. And we're not in hurricane season, but those are hurricane force winds. Okay, I'll check it out. Thank you, I appreciate that. I mean, I saw the big storm up there, the big rotator. I saw it, the big spinner in the North Atlantic. Saw it days ahead of time. The model over here showed that it was going to, appear up in the North Atlantic. But there's always big storms up there all year round. It's not uncommon to see very large centers of rotation in the North Atlantic that can span 1,000 miles. Not uncommon at all. But the comment that I just read, the guy telling me that there was 147 mile an hour winds detected in Scotland last night, that's kind of unheard of, especially this time of year. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate that. All right, we're going to look at the highway cam, and it's has not refreshed. Let's try another one. This would be Route 9, westbound, Northampton. I stayed with that one because it was one of the few that did work. A lot of these, for whatever reasons, I couldn't get to come up. And this is the same area that we were in earlier. Just trying to get a perspective of the road conditions, and of course the weather that's ongoing. These are I follow hurricanes, with these cameras. As long as the winds will let them stay on, they are affected by power outages and winds as well, and that could be what we have going on here. I think the power outage took these cameras offline. Yeah, that's definitely what it looks like. So, just looking at some of the other ones just to see. Yeah, these are offline, guys. Makes sense. The power's out in this area, so these the server to those cameras probably went offline as well, and I don't know how much longer this one's going to stay on. It's on for right now. It's on for right now. This is our last one. Other than you guys being there, that's better than a camera. If you guys can report on the conditions, that's great. Scott from Queens said they're getting a lot of snow. That was like 30 minutes ago. In Queens, New York, Long Island's expecting quite a variety, anywhere from a foot, like where Scott's at 11 inches in Queens. And then as you go east, 22 inches on Long Island, New York. What? It's a lot of snow, very densely populated area. There's a lot of roads on Long Island too, so it's going to take a while to clear off. 20, even 10 inches of snow would be a lot to manage, with the high winds. We can see the winds now just howling. And we're at the Cape Cod Bridge, right in the middle of the power outages. I think that's what happened. Look at those winds. Yeah, that's what happened with the camera, the other camera we had. I think it went offline because of the power outages. Probably affected the server that managed the cameras. So I'm not surprised at all. This one's still on, and it's right in the middle of the power outages. I don't know how long this one's going to stay on, but if it goes offline, then don't know what to do. Anybody else up there in the storm? Kind of looking through some of the comments. Plowing 4 hours in Derry, New Hampshire. Looks like we've done absolutely nothing. Wow. Michael Flattery, been plowing for 4 hours, and because of the winds, it doesn't look like they've done anything. Totally get it. I've been in the middle of this stuff before, and that's how it is. Especially when it's blowing, it's in a constant state of motion, so you move it, it moves somewhere else. Now, if it wasn't windy and you just had snowfall, then the combination of the plows and the ice, not ice, salt, you can kind of stay ahead of it a little bit, but you factor in the winds, it's just in a constant state of motion. So you move it and it comes right back within minutes. So, but you got to stay on it best you can, because it's easier to move a couple inches than it is 20. Even though it does come right back, you just got to keep going over it and over it and over it. Because if it piles up too deep, then I've seen to where they had to get graders and tractors to come out and get through some drifts that were massive drifts where a snowplow couldn't get through it, because it was not only, let's just say 6 foot high, but it was a half a mile long. So they actually had to get these big wedge type, they'd have like a V on the front of a large road grader or end loader or something like that. I've seen that before. Snow was just so deep that they couldn't do that until the wind quit blowing. Angela, hey, do you think the volcanoes in Antarctica will become active with all the activity in the ring of fire? That's a good question. Who would have thought that the volcano in the Tonga area would have done what it did, So would it surprise me if a volcano, I think there is an active volcano. It's Mount, what's that, Agar? I have can look it up. It's on the north side of the continent. They consider it slightly active. It's not like it's erupting. But there's a lot of volcanoes on Antarctica. Not to change the subject, but that was a good question, you know. And could one become active? A volcano anywhere on Earth could become active, just like the one in Tonga. We weren't expecting that. So yeah, there's active volcanoes over in the South Sandwich Islands. In fact, more than one. They're not in full-fledged eruption mode, but they are kind of just, you know, idling a little bit, just letting everybody know that they're there. A little bit of steam coming out of the caldera. And I think there's several. You would be surprised if you've ever researched Antarctica. You already know. I researched Antarctica extensively for years. I always, every time I go down there, I find the place quite fascinating. And I was really shocked years and years ago when I learned of all of the volcanoes and actual hotspots, you know, on a continent that's primarily ice and snow. But you have to remember that Antarctica, if you study it in depth, Antarctica was not always a sheet of ice and snow. Antarctica, I know it's hard to fathom, but Antarctica, according to old, you know, and these are just their, how do they base these off of? I'm not sure how they come up with these maps, but there's global maps that show continental drift, you know, over millions of years. And according to those models, if they're correct, Antarctica used to be up at the equator. And I'm talking, you know, what, 300 million years ago? And then throughout the course of time, Antarctica has now, through continental drift, like a lot of people don't and never have heard of, the South American roll. South America is literally, and this is a few centimeters at a time over the course of a long time, is rolling. There's a thing called the South American roll. I studied that for years. And if you look at South America, the east side of South America is nice sandy beaches, and the west side is just rugged, steep cliffs of rock. It's rolling from left to right, west to east. But Antarctica did not always be at the bottom of the earth covered in ice and snow. It was probably at one time, common logic would tell you, if it was at the equator, it was probably thriving with life forms. Vertical life forms and horizontal life forms. They're obviously not there today, but if there are, and there are, the volcanoes on the continent of Antarctica that are not necessarily active, but those areas are hotspots. And those hotspots, you know, maybe a mile underground, could have forms of life, you know, in microbial form now. Not necessarily vertical creatures or horizontal creatures. I'm talking two-legged and four-legged creatures. No, but there is microbial life down there. And one other thing that people may or may not have thought of, and that's if Antarctica were ever to completely thaw. You know, there's bacteria from the living creatures that used to occupy Antarctica when it was up at the equator millions and millions of years ago, that's been frozen in time, so to speak. And if those forms of bacteria, possible viruses, whatever, got out, you know, they would get in the jet streams and things like that. And that would be something foreign to, you know, everybody that's occupying Earth today, because, you know, they've been frozen in time for 50 or 60 million years. So I don't know how all that would unfold. But yeah, Antarctica didn't always used to be there. It used to be up in the tropics, according to the maps that I've seen many years ago. All right, and so did all the continents for that matter. I will say North America has always kind of been in the same general place, going back at least 300 million years. Okay, I want to check out the power outages. Let's look. This is a big deal when the power goes out. Okay, we've got 116 now without electricity, mainly in the Cape area, southeastern, Massachusetts, right here in this area. That's why the cameras went out on the other one that we were looking at, because more than likely the server that manages the cameras went offline, directly impacted by the power outages. So instead of 119, it's now 116, which tells me that there was a substation that they were able to go into and work on safely, because you're not going to be able to get a guy up in a truck right now. It's too windy. So more than likely a substation may have had a trip breaker that they got and were able to repair, in a timely manner, only because they were able to get to it without using a truck. Which is good. That's a good deal. But going back to the snowfall totals, this is what we're more than likely going to see by tonight, after dark. It'll be an all-day event, according to the models I've seen, the model we're looking at right now, and it does appear to be verifying. People are definitely saying the snow is coming down, the winds are blowing. We can tell by the power outages and whatnot in this area, snowfall accumulation and power outages. This area here is receiving, significant wind. They're going to see significant, that's changing. Okay, this storm may be moving to the left a little bit, because I just ran across, let me zoom in, I'm sorry guys, let me zoom in. Middleborough looking at potentially 24 inches of snow. By the time the snow stops falling tonight, possibly around 10 o'clock tonight. I just saw a 25 inch, which I have not seen a 25 personally on this map until just now. Where did it go? 24.5, that would be south of the Boston area. Let's go up to Boston. There you go. Look at that. Let that catch up. 18.3. Yeah, this is forecast. It could be a little less. It could be a little more. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But again, it's supposed to snow until 10 o'clock tonight. You can see the wind blowing, or flowing counterclockwise. There's an offshore flow now as the storm is moving northward. Earlier, I'm sure there was an onshore flow. Looking at 24 inches of snow possible southeast of Rockland, north of Pembroke. Look at that. That is a lot of snow. And right now in this area, over 100,000 customers without electricity. Looking at the snowfall totals, I'm just seeing if they've changed, because this does update about every 30. Yeah, you're looking at major snowfall on Long Island. West Hampton, 24.1. Steady 24 inch, 24.2. Over to Hampton Bays. Look at that. 24.1. That's over 2 feet of snow. Easy. North Sea, this would be on the far eastern end of Long Island. Again, over 24 inches of snow. That is a lot of snow. That's a lot of snow. Now let's go inland a little bit. East Stroudsburg. See, the farther in you go where it's blue, the less impact this particular storm has on that area. So you're looking at 3 inches. The farther in you go, like Allentown, 2.7, right around the 3-inch mark. That's not anything that is going to impact the flow of traffic or anything like that. Coming down to the Trenton, this would be in the New Jersey area. Looking at possibly 8-9 inches of snow possible in the Trenton, New Jersey area along the coast of New Jersey. And this includes north and south, southern parts of the coast of New Jersey. On average, anywhere above 12 inches, anywhere from 12 to 13 to 14. Wait a minute, that just updated. See, it wasn't 15 earlier. So this is updating, and it's showing me some areas that are suggesting a little more snow than just what we saw an hour ago. So that's showing 15 inches of snow now possible in south central New Jersey. The snowfall totals, got power outages going on. Have these increased up here in Maine? Let's look. Still looking at over 30, 34, 33.3 inches, and that would be in south central Maine, going up into north central Maine. Holy cow, 43 inches of snow. And over here in, this would be Nova Scotia, looking at 22, 23, just depending on where you are. A lot of snow. It looks like the center of rotation is kind of parked right now above the southern end of Nova Scotia right now as we do this video. And slow moving systems, not moving super fast, dropping large amounts of snow and high winds. And that combination has created over 100,000 power outages right now, primarily in far eastern Massachusetts, but I'm sure as the day goes on, common logic will tell you that it's going to affect more than just one state. Anywhere up in the New England area, quite possibly New Jersey, Long Island, if that snow verifies into the, near 20-inch range, that could create, issues for the power grid just in general. So have to wait and see how it unfolds. It's still early in the game. It's got 10 hours to go. Well, let's see. That's got, yeah, it's gonna snow all day. All day event. And the snowfall will fluctuate, from half an inch an hour to 3 inches an hour. It's never just a perfect 2 inch per hour. It's always going to fluctuate some. But it looks like on average it's going to be about a 2 inch per hour generator. That's what it's going to end up being by the time the snowfall dust all settles. It's like on average about 2 inch per hour rate, which is that's a respectable storm. Absolutely. And it's got the longevity. It's going to last a while. It's going to last for 10 hours at least. All day event. Let's see if we've got the cameras back on over here. I don't think so, but worth a try. No. Scroll down. This is just the highway cams in Massachusetts. That's what these are. Sometimes they can give you a good perspective of storms in general, but the problem, they're susceptible to power outages, just like everything else. They too need power. It's the world that we live in. So when the power's out, boy, things just kind of, it's time to get a good book. Yep. It's time to get a book out in the daytime. Open your windows, let the natural lighting in. At night, I don't necessarily recommend candles because of the fire hazard. You definitely don't need that occurring in the middle of a blizzard when it would be hard for a fire truck to get to your location. So refrain from candles if you can, unless you're just super duper safe. If you have a fireplace, that's obviously safe. That'd be a great way to keep warm and add lighting. Okay. Scott Miller, I'm on Nantucket. It's brutal. Lots of power outages. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. That's kind of why I went to that area here, this general area, because it looked like the storm was going to impact it, the most intensely, just like you said. And it's going to be like that for a while, Scott. So, just hang in there. I have nothing but utmost respect for Mother Nature. I've seen a lot of the extreme aspects of Mother Nature. I've seen tornadoes. I've seen hurricanes. I was in hurricanes. I don't ever want to be in a tornado, but I have seen tornadoes. Saw one spawn right before my very eyes. It looked like a horizontal ice cream cone up in the sky. It came down to a point, and it was horizontal. And I'm like, whoa! And it was a dark cloud, one dark cloud over the city. Next thing you know, it started reaching for the ground, made contact, started pulling up the soil, and then all of a sudden it went from a semi-transparent vortex to a brown vortex because it was pulling up dirt. And I watched it move away from me. It was moving east-northeast, and I was on an eastbound, actually I was on a westbound two-lane highway. I just pulled off the road and watched it. And of course, I've been in multiple hurricanes and multiple blizzards. So I have nothing but respect for Mother Nature. Absolutely. Let's look at the power outages again. I'm just kind of bouncing around watching the effects of this very large storm that's affecting millions of people. And right now, 112,000 customers. Let's click on, and the area is right where Scott was talking about. See? More than likely, these outages here, some of them were probably repairable from a substation point of view. More than likely, well, I know guys can't get up in these boom trucks when the winds are above 30 miles per hour. That's just basic protocol safety. It's a safety standard that should be in place. But as the day moves forward, I would look for more power outages. I'm over here at poweroutage.us to affect multiple states. These storms always do. Seen it many, many times. And this one I'm sure will be no different. But again, I know you guys that, especially in this area, it's not your first rodeo. You've been in many blizzards, many nor'easters. Probably were in Hurricane Sandy. I remember Hurricane Sandy making its way up into that area. That was unbelievable. This is no Hurricane Sandy. Even though it looks on a map very similar to a lot of the storms we see that turn into like a nor'easter type of storm, definitely got that look to it for sure. So anyway, lots of snow, guys. It's going to snow all afternoon into the evening hours. I know right now along the East Coast it's 12:37. Just reached the afternoon hours, and a lot of this activity that we're seeing on the map up there in the upper left-hand corner is just getting started. So it's going to do this all day. So look for a lot of snow to accumulate, more possible power outages. Right now, the majority of the power outages are limited to Massachusetts, but you know that that's going to extend to multiple states. It's basic common logic. It's a large storm. The storm is affecting multiple states, so more than likely the power outages will follow the storm. So just be prepared. That's all. I'm sure you guys are. And again, look for many, many inches of snow. As right now, it looks like it's coming down at about a 2-inch per hour rate. Again, fluctuating. Like right now, you don't see the high winds on the screen. They fluctuate too, but it's really intense. Like right now, up in like Nantucket, and boy, I would say based off of what I'm seeing on that radar, Nova Scotia is really getting some heavy snow right now. Very, very heavy. But again, it's going to be an all-day event. So enjoy the beauty of the snow, but be safe, stay off the roads. And if your power is out, try to be patient, because, these guys have to be safe in order to get your power restored. It has to be, under safe conditions. So and look for more power outages as the storm hangs around all day and into the evening hours. All right, guys, that's all I got for now. Just kind of wanted to touch base on the storm as it has arrived, and it looks like the computer models are indeed going to verify. Looking at ventusky.com, several feet, a couple of feet in some places, but a foot extending from southern New Jersey all the way up to the northern tip of Maine, including Nova Scotia, southern Canada, over here in the Quebec, Montreal area, and of course our friends up in Newfoundland. A lot of snow today, big snow event. It's going to last for many more hours. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there, guys.